Hello, amazing souls. Welcome to the Soul Vibe Insights Podcast, a show to demystify the soul, intuition, and the Akashic Records. We know a thing or two about the ups and downs of being on a spiritual growth plan and how to find the higher perspective, even when it seems like there isn't one. I'm your host, Maddie Hollingsworth.
And I'm your host, Emily Pearl. We've been professional intuitives and energy healers for over 20 years now. We believe each of us are on a unique path of growth and learning, and our intuition is meant to be our guide. The problem is, most of us have never learned how to use it. That's where we come in, helping you discover how your intuition works and the lessons your soul has chosen to learn in this life is what we're all about.
All right, y'all, let's jump right into today's show. Hey there, amazing souls, and welcome to today's show. We're going to dive deep on your soul vibe and what affects your vibe. It's a pretty special day for Emily and I, as this is our 20th episode, and
Woo! 20th episode!
We're pretty excited.
Yes, we're very excited to be here today. Hello, everyone.
In this episode, we're going to break down the differences between your vibe and your soul vibe, and the reason we wanted to do this episode. And we're going to dive into 7 things we have found that can make or break your vibe. In other words, the things that will keep you vibrating at a low frequency and what you can do in order to start vibrating at a higher frequency. You know those low frequency things make you feel like shit, keep you stuck where you're at. And the higher frequency, those things that give you more energy, give you that positive feeling, that can help you break out of bad patterns and actually create more of the things that you want in your life.
So let's begin by defining the word vibe. So I looked it up, and there were several definitions, and well, of course there are definitions in all dictionaries, but the one I really liked the most was in Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, and it defines your vibe as a distinctive feeling or quality capable of being sensed. And so many people talk about, oh, that person has good vibes, or oh, that place, I don't know, there was just something weird about it. It had like a bad vibe, or, oh, that place gives me a weird vibe. And so even the people that say that they don't believe in energy, then they still use these words. They still talk about vibes. They still get these impressions from people when they meet, and they either immediately like someone or immediately don't like someone. And this all has to do with your vibe and what you're giving off and what other people are sensing from you and about you.
Your soul vibe describes who you are in terms of the foundation of your being, meaning this is your inherent vibration, the characteristics that you are modeling for others here in the physical world. This is who you are, whether you are incarnated here on earth, you're in between your human lifetimes as a light body and spirit, or you're incarnated on another planet in the universe. You carry these qualities throughout your many lifetimes. So the difference being is basically that your soul vibe's the foundation for who you are, and that your vibe constitutes the energy of your unique human expression in this lifetime, the feels that you put out and associate internally with yourself.
So a big reason why we wanted to cover this topic is about awareness. We wanted to dive deep into what affects your vibe in an effort to bring this awareness so that you can know yourself deeper and shift your perception about these things in your life. I mean, that's all that we really want, is to just get you thinking about yourself, about where you are, what you're doing, how you're being, and help you move forward in a way that is most in alignment with what you really want. I mean, that's what we're really about, is helping you feel more fulfillment, more meaning, more purpose in your life. And we really feel like connecting with your soul, bringing your soul into it, bringing your divinity into it is a really great way to move forward and to bring more purpose into your life.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said that any better. Thank you. You know, awareness is the first step to transforming yourself, your habits, your environment, so you can flip the script of your life into more meaningfulness, more love, more satisfaction, more success, more all the things begin with awareness.
Yeah, and we think it's really interesting to bring up that a lot of people they have their opinions about energy healing or energy work, but awareness and perception shifting is a type of energy healing. And the reason is because once you've made these connections in your life, once you've changed that perception, then you really can't go back. And it really does ripple through your DNA. It ripples through your every core of your being, through your lifetimes. I mean, just think about a time that you shifted your perception or you made a realization about yourself or about a relationship or about your job. You really can't go back to the way things were before. In fact, I even have this phrase that I think about, like when it came to knowing time was up in a relationship, it was like, uh-oh, I've hit the point of no return. It's when you're with that partner and you're looking at them and you're just like, it's time to break up, or that the time has ended with your job. You just can't go into work or be in the presence of that person and go back to the way things were before. You have hit the point of no return. And so that there is energy healing. That there is this shift of perception. And that is the energy that ripples out into your entire life, into the core of your being. When you make these realizations and create this awareness around yourself and what you want in life.
We are energy beings. We all have a vibe about us. We're not meant to be stagnant. Life is all the things. Sometimes it's ups and downs, but life isn't meant to just be downs and just be sad and just be woe is me. We're also meant to thrive. We're meant to excel at things. We're meant to learn from the downs and the ups, but we're meant to keep moving. And I like what Emily just said about the point of no return. That's a real good one, because I've been there before. Absolutely. I used to think I'm backed up against the wall. I'm at that point of no return, and now it's time to move forward, move away from this, because I can't keep backpedaling anymore. That's how I would associate it for my own personal self. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and every time you show up for that next shift after you've hit the point of no return, it takes every ounce of effort that you have to make it through that day, or you just feel your entire energy drooping down. It feels heavy. It feels
soul sucking.
Yes. So if you are in that position right now when you're listening to this, please know that you are not alone. We have all been there, and you do have the power to change things for your life. You do have the power to raise your vibration, and through this change and raising of your frequency, you will start to attract more of the things that you want. But you have to create that awareness within your life first to even know what you want in the first place so that you can move towards it.
And sometimes the beginning is just knowing you don't want more of what you got.
Yeah.
That's an awareness in and of itself right there. And that's okay. That means you got a starting point now to work with. So as we go through these 7 things that we think are really important towards making or breaking your vibe, we're going to ask open-ended questions for you to ponder about your life and the scenarios that you exist within. This is part of the awareness process, is to answer the questions you ask yourself, or in this case, we ask for you.
So let's get started.
Let's dive in, y'all.
So what affects your vibe? So we put together this list of 7 things, and we think it's really important to think about these things in terms of your life right now. So the first thing is your emotional state. Your emotional state affects your vibe. So if you are constantly in a lower vibration emotional state, then you will feel, like I said earlier, you'll feel heavier. It'll be harder to move through your day. It'll be more difficult to do the things that you need to do. It will be difficult to just make it through the day. So your emotional state really does affect things. Lately, I've been studying Gene Keys, and I've been finding it so interesting. But something I wanted to bring up that Richard Rudd says in his book, Gene Keys, Unlocking the Purpose Hidden in Your DNA, he says, depending on your attitude at any given moment, your DNA is the architect via your endocrine system of your physical, emotional, and mental reality. So let that sink in. Whatever you are feeling, whatever your mood is right now, it is literally creating your physical, mental, and emotional reality. And so I'm not saying high vibes all the time, good mood all the time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you are in a lower emotional state, what you want to do is just allow it to happen and not identify with it. So I feel like if you're like me, the first thing that you want to do is be like, okay, what is it that I ate earlier? What is it that I did today? Like, what could be causing this emotional state? But this is a highly complex system that you're trying to logicize. More complex than you can even begin to try to logicize. Is that a word, logicize?
It works for me.
If the first thing that happens when you're feeling shitty is you try to backpedal and try to figure out what it is that you did in this day that made you feel that way, then you're trying to identify or you're trying to bring logic into something that you can't really bring logic into. So what I would suggest, or what people that are the front runners of emotional states, psychologists or other people, they would suggest that you don't identify with these emotional states. And the way you do this is you say, okay, this is what feeling shitty feels like, and just let it be. Like, try not to go into that rumination mode of trying to figure out why or how or what you did to, or what you ate to make this possible. Just allow it to be and just tell yourself it will pass. Just know that whatever you're feeling now, it is in a fluid state. Your emotions are always in this fluid state. They are capable of changing. And so it is very important to keep that in mind and know that your attitude at this very moment is the architect of your physical, emotional, and mental reality.
Yeah, for me, this would be about observing what you're feeling. And like Emily said, not attaching to it. You're just observing that you feel this way in this moment
And
of
it's
this
okay.
day. And it's okay.
You're okay. You're okay.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. So your environment is huge on making or breaking your vibe, for sure. When your soul comes here, you've got this loose plan, but part of it is you're choosing your family. You're choosing that environment to come into. So when you think back on your childhood, how did your parents raise you? What sort of belief system were they mentoring to you as you grew up? Some of the things that you inherently believe and follow through with or act upon are the things that were mentored to you. And this is usually done on purpose because your soul chose to be there. So you could learn from it, grow from it. So you'd have this scenario or this, this is the hand that you're playing out of all the possibilities. But it doesn't mean you're stuck with this forever. It's just what shaped you early on.
And then, a lot of times it's bringing up something to be healed later on.
Absolutely. I think that's a big reason we choose the family, to get that environment, that mentoring, that shaping, is because it's mimicking some sort of past life stuff or limiting beliefs or things that we have that we want to work on, that we want to heal. I think that's the bigger purpose and plan with the environment, especially with the childhood environment that we've chosen for sure. And that does, extend into adulthood, but especially, I think, our formative years. And then speaking of adulthood, what are you choosing to be in now as far as an environment? Does it mimic what you were taught in your childhood? Have you objectively looked within, and do you ask yourself self-analyzing questions? Questions like, what am I doing here? What choices or inaction led me here? Does this benefit me? Am I happy? Am I learning about myself in this environment or from this environment or this scenario? These are the kinds of questions, and there is a plethora of many more that you could be asking yourself given any situation, any environment that you're in. Be it your home life, your friend group, what you're up to on a Friday night, the work you do. This is the kind of stuff, if you're willing to ask yourself questions, then you're willing to gain awareness. And you may gain the awareness like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm here because I want to be here. I'm here because I'm learning. I made choices to get here. That was on purpose. Or you could not really have all the answers to these things, but it could lead you to the answers by bringing awareness around asking yourself questions. I think that's one of the bravest things we can do, is be willing to take responsibility for our lives, for our choices, for what's going on, for where we are, and to do a little bit of self-analyzing, to really dig deep into, how do I feel about this scenario or this situation? Not attaching to the feeling that you have, but how do I feel? Okay, do I want to be feeling this way? No. Okay, well, what can I do? What steps can I take to shift this, to flip this script?
And I feel like this could even be extended to literally your we're definitely talking about your physical environment, but I'm talking about like your outside environment. If you're someone who hates winter and you live somewhere in the far north where it's fucking cold every winter and you're miserable, then maybe you should start thinking about something else. And it's okay for you to not like winter, but if you're just miserable for months and months out of every year, then maybe this is a sign that you're not in the correct environment. And vice versa, if you're in this heat-filled, humid environment and it makes you absolutely miserable to walk to your car and sweat, then maybe you're in the wrong place. And there's a saying that keeps coming up in all my studies of human design, which I feel like we're going to be talking about before too long, because we've been studying that for the last 2.5 years, and then more recently studying the gene keys. But there's this saying that keeps coming up over and over in all of my reading, that if you are in the wrong place, then you are with the wrong people. And so you might think that that is backwards, and I've had to really contemplate this a lot. But if you are in the wrong place, then you are with the wrong people. Meaning that if you are miserable in your environment, then you are not having the opportunities, you're not attracting the people and the opportunities that could propel you in this better direction, in this direction towards your highest desires.
How could the right people be near you if you're in the wrong place? So Emily's posing a very simple and yet deeply profound question. Are you in the right environment, literally?
So this next one I feel like hits very deep for all of us, because I think that this is something that really ripples out into the environment, and sadly it is very contagious. But the third thing that affects your vibe is negative thinking. And this includes self-hatred, lacking self-worth, lacking belief in yourself and your dreams, lacking belief in the possibility that you're even worthy of them coming true. And a big thing that encompasses all of this are the stories that you tell yourself about yourself. And these are the internal stories that are directly related to your beliefs about yourself. And they include both positive and negative and are usually unconscious. But as we hopefully have started pointing out, there are many things that are unconscious within your brain that you can make conscious. You can pull it out into the more conscious side and become aware of these things about yourself. And so bringing awareness to your internal dialogue is a very good way on how to bring these unconscious or subconscious beliefs into the conscious, like into your awareness. And bringing these things into your awareness is the key to taking the power away from your limiting beliefs, which we talked a lot about in the last episode, and empowering yourself through this awareness and through this self-realization. It is so incredibly empowering when you start to really dive deep into this negative thinking that you have into your brain, and you're like, you know what? No. This stops right here. I am going to choose to believe in myself. I'm going to believe that it is possible for my dreams to come true. I mean, just think about how much lighter it feels just to get into that vibration, just to have those thoughts. To say, you know what? I may have things that I don't love about myself, but you know what? I'm going to choose to love them anyway. I'm going to choose to see these things about myself in a positive light. Because I guarantee you, everything that you think that is bad about yourself, someone else thinks it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. There's always the other side of the polarity of duality here. We don't want to dive too deep in where these limiting beliefs can come from. We really did that in the last episode, navigating duality and healing limited beliefs. If you're interested to know more about that, check that episode out. But the point that we want to really make here is that once you start to become aware of this internal dialogue, then you're dealing with the unconscious coming out, that this belief system's trying to direct your life. And at this point, you can start to tell yourself a different story. Oh yeah, I hear you, sure. But you know what? I think I can do that. I think I am worthy. I think I am special. I think I am deserving. You can flip the script and you can go from this story of self-detriment, story of lack of self-worth or self-hatred, into a redemption story, into something self-empowering. That's what's possible when you start to bring awareness to the stories you tell yourself about yourself.
Yeah, and I feel like I should say, it is kind of hard to get started, especially when these thoughts are so automatic. But it really is about bringing that awareness. Like when you have a negative thought about yourself, something one of our mentors that she taught us, it's in one of her blogs, Anna Sace, she says, you can say literally like stop, 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 or change, change, change. And then you literally change that line of thinking. Like if you're like, oh, I can't do this, you're like, no, stop, change, change, change. I can do this. I can do this. Like it's as easy as that. It's like stopping it in your tracks. And the more you do that, the more you bring that change and shift that perspective, then the easier it's going to become.
And the more you shift your vibe, the more you shift what you're emanating out there, because your conscious energy and then your emotional energy is changing. How you feel about yourself, what you think about yourself, the story you're telling yourself about yourself changes.
Yeah, and sadly, self-hatred and lacking self-worth is something that has rippled out through all of humanity. So if this is something that you struggle with, just know you are definitely not alone. This is something that every single person in the entire world struggles with. Like we have had many people, like one of our mentors, Debbie, who works with an international school, Barbara Brennan, Hands of Light, she says, yes, this is something that I've seen in every single country that I've worked in, every single person that I've worked with. This is definitely something that happens. Reading Richard Rudd's book and like talking about human design, he says this is something that, or this may be Roz, who is the inventor of human design, but it says he's done tens of thousands of readings, and it is something that has popped up in every single one of those readings. So this is definitely something that ripples out into humanity that every single one of us experience. And so it starts with you. It starts within to make that change. To have that courage to choose differently, to choose to believe in yourself. It takes courage.
Yeah, it does. That's beautiful, honey. It does take courage. And you are courageous.
Yeah.
Inside you is just enough bravery to make that change. You can do it.
Yeah, just takes a little consistency, some persistence, but it does get easier, and the momentum does pick up to make it easier and easier to where you eventually don't have to think about it as much at all. And then it becomes every once in a while, and then hopefully one day it stops. I can't say that from experience yet, but I am choosing to believe that one day it will stop.
Happy holidays, you amazing souls. Are you feeling overwhelmed from the hustle and bustle of the holidays and want to give you and your family the gift of energy clearing? Well, our Navigating Spiritual Protection with the Divine Copilot course is just what you need. In the giving spirit of this holiday season, Emily and I are offering 24% off our services and courses purchased by New Year's Day. Visit us at soulvibeinsights.com and use coupon code HOLIDAY24 during checkout. Now let's get back to today's episode. All right, let's move on.
Yes.
All right, y'all. So something really important that'll make or break your vibe is the quality of the energy that you input. Energy isn't created or destroyed, it's transferred. We are energetic beings. Everything here on earth has an energy, has a vibe about it. So what are you allowing inside your auric field? What are you putting inside your body? These kinds of energies are really important. Think about people. Are you feeling supported by your friends, by your family? Are you being recognized for your gifts and your uniqueness? We all somewhere have a desire to be recognized, a desire to have an impact on our personal reality, on the people around us, to share in this world together. And it's really important that there's some recognition for who you are, for the divinity that lies within you. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? You ever heard that you are a conglomeration of the 5 people you spend the most time with? That's huge. And,
Yes.
you know, in my experiences, I've shifted things around in my life. I found this to be pretty true. The energy that we're constantly intaking by the 5 people we spend the most time with, it really heavily influences us.
Yeah, I mean, do you like them? Do you like the 5 people that you spend the most time with? And even more than that, do those people model behaviors and characteristics that you want to have?
Wow. I hadn't thought about that. What are they modeling to you? That's a good one, babe. And some of this, you obviously have choices. You always have a choice. But this could be coworkers or family members. And you may be reluctant to, rock the boat and put a little distance between you. But consider, what are you getting from these 5 relationships? What's being transferred to you or modeled to you, as Emily put, from the 5 people you spend the most time with? And back to recognition, do these 5 people fully recognize you for all that you are? Not just compartmentalizing you into certain aspects or skills that you have, but do they recognize your whole being, all of you? Do they embrace all of you or all that you are?
Yeah.
These are important questions to ask yourself and to ponder a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so another thing that goes under this quality of energy that you input is your food and drink. Like what you are literally taking into your body. What is the quality of that food? Is it mostly chemicals and preservatives? Or is it food that actually has life force energy that can feed and empower your vibration? Is it actual living food, such as vegetables, fruits? Or is it just basically things that were built in a factory? I mean, think about factories and how it's just one machine to the next. Think about that energetic signature and that energy that you're putting into your body. It's literally a machine going to another machine, going to another machine. And I mean, everything has life force energy. But the quality of the life force energy changes based on how it's made or where it comes from. And so those are just kind of important things to think about. Like, what kind of drinks are you ingesting? What are you literally putting into your body? Are you drinking a lot of sugar or chemical drinks? Are you drinking tons of alcohol? Are you drinking enough water? I mean, your body is literally made up of, what is it? Like, how much water?
I feel like it's 90% or something like that is water.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact percentage, but a very high percentage of your body is made up of water. And if you are not replenishing that water, I mean, because you're constantly burning that water through your sweat, you're, peeing it out. You are definitely eliminating it in many ways.
So it's anywhere from 50 to 75%, depending on the body part we're talking about.
Oh, wow. High
brain
percentage.
and kidneys are like 85%. So that I could think that's what I was thinking of, is the brain was like 90% water or something.
Yeah.
So I was overshooting it a little bit, but it still makes up 50 to 75% of your body is water. That's huge to just replenish yourself with water.
Well, just think about how being dehydrated or not drinking enough water could affect your brain. When your brain is made up of that much water.
I know I feel different when I'm dehydrated.
I don't know if you're ever like fully textbook dehydrated, but when you're not as
hydrated as I'm used to being?
Yes.
That's okay. That's a more accurate way to put that. I definitely feel a difference. Feel, especially like agitation. I'm quicker to be frustrated and stuff like that. And I can sometimes I can feel my heart pounding a little bit more.
Yeah, that happens to me too.
My blood's thickening and I need to put the water in to get the right ratio. So everything moves a little smoother and stuff, throughout my body. But yeah, those are things that I can notice. And then, I drink on some water and within 20 to 30 minutes, I feel a lot better.
Yeah, I find that with myself too. Aw. Aspen's over here making noises while she sleeps. But yeah, I find that with myself with drinking water too. If I'm feeling like I am maybe not properly hydrated, I definitely feel like my heart pounds more. I feel more sluggish. I feel like I breathe harder, like just running up the steps, like simple tasks like that. And I'm like, okay, what is going on right now? Oh, okay, I need to drink water. And then, yes, that always helps.
So we're going to move on, but I hope you took note of how much time we just spent talking about water. We're big believers in consuming water as something super important to input in the body. Water is life, y'all. So let's move on to whether you exercise or not. Are you inputting exercise into your being? Louise Hay said exercise is self-love, and I totally agree. And I have not always been an exercising person. But now that Emily and I are, and we have our routine, we know firsthand the effects from exercising 30 to 40 minutes, 4 to 6 times a week. They've been kind of mind-blowing for us.
Yes, I feel like I need to reiterate, only 30 to 40 minutes a day. That's really not much. And starting out, of course, it was like, ugh! But we knew in our minds, like, we wanted this, but it was much harder to make it through. And now it's just like, okay, yes, I know it's going to be difficult. I know I'm going to sweat, but it's only 30 minutes. It's like I've changed my perspective. Oh, I can definitely make it through 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
There's not dread around something that I was dedicated to doing and wanted. There's joy around it. And as soon as I made that change, that perspective shift within me, I started to see huge gains from the exercise we were doing because I wanted it. It wasn't that I'm dedicated to this and I know it's good for me, darn it, oh God, it's going to be rough. When I went to, yeah, let's get our exercise on, let's get that dopamine hit, I'm looking forward to this. Like getting out of bed, wanting it. Yeah, huge shifts.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen the effects mentally, emotionally, and physically. So they've been, I mean, these shifts that have happened within us have just been astronomical. I mean, they definitely have helped us break out of patterns, like old debilitating thought patterns. We've been able to replace them with more self-encouragement, more, I mean, just we're kind of proud of ourselves for keeping it up because it was something that we never have been able to keep up in the past.
Darn right, I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so it's just something that, you know, we've really stuck through and like pushed through and gotten to the other side to where it's something that, I mean, we enjoyed it from the beginning because we knew that we wanted it, but now it's like a different kind of joy.
This is true.
It's like we actually enjoy the act of it now, and we're not just enjoying the thought of what will come from it.
Absolutely. Not just enjoying the what should shift, but actually enjoying the physical act of doing it now too.
Yeah, and so I do think that's a good, like if you're thinking about this and you're like, all right, you're right, maybe I should start exercising. A really good way to get started, a good thought, you know, to wrap your mind around is, I know that I'll feel better if I do this. And you know that as long as you do this, you will feel better. And that infuses these good feelings and more alignment into your body while you're doing it. Even though, you know, you may struggle through it in the beginning because it may be more difficult. But as you keep telling yourself, I know I'll feel better if I do this. I know I'll feel better if I do this. Then eventually you'll get to, I know I look forward to doing this. I'm excited about doing this. And you start to see results.
I was just about to say, I've never been one to linger in a mirror or, you know, I've done work on looking in a mirror and loving myself, but I've never been one to like sneak a peek at myself like, oh, hey, look, that muscle's coming out. I've got not a six pack, but I got abs showing and definition in my obliques and I'm trimmed up. Look at my shoulders. Like,
yeah, you're looking good, babe.
Thank you. You're looking extra hot yourself.
Well,
even more so than you always have. But isn't it nice to, I don't know, that's completely mind-blowing to me that I sneak a peek at myself, you know, and I just have that like, yeah, go me, you know, go us. So the next thing that we want to touch on and what you're inputting is, what are you paying attention to throughout your day? Think about social media, TV, the advertisements on those. This kind of stuff here, like advertisements are designed typically to make you feel bad about yourself, to prey upon insecurities, and to tell you if you just had this product right here, ta-da, the world would be all popsicles and roses and cotton candy and so good and oh my, like
popsicles and roses.
Those are the things that popped in my head right away. Whatever imagery pops in your head that makes you think everything would be great, that's what they're trying to elicit with you. Advertisements aren't really inspirational sometimes, but I think that's on the rare side of things. So what kind of input are you bringing in as far as what you're paying attention to? And social media is something that almost everybody pays attention to. We haven't had cable television since 2004, so I don't really know who still has cable and watches commercials, and if that's super prevalent in society. I'm assuming it's still out there. All too often with social media, you can get caught up in comparing yourself to others, and that can be detrimental to your health and to your well-being. We have similarities with others, but we were never meant to be carbon copies of someone else. We were never meant to covet what they have or what they exude. And keep in mind, social media is what people choose to put forth. It can be a little too curated at times. Trust that your unique vibe, that is special. And find inspiration from others. That's what I've tried to curate it to be more of an inspiring thing for me.
So I did want to make a special note about this topic of the quality of energy that you input. And this special note is especially for human design projectors, such as myself. So because the way our energy, being a human design projector, works, it is activated by the energy of another. So this activation happens through recognition and accepting a correct invitation. And so by this act of being recognized for your gifts by someone else, and then them extending a personal invitation to work with them, to be in a relationship with them, to be in a friendship, they are essentially activating your energy with theirs. Now, if the energy that they're offering is dismissive, complaining, or of low quality, then that activation is not going to feel good. It's going to feel like crap. And that activation of your energy will probably be short-lived. But if the energy that they're offering is full of integrity, gratitude for your efforts, and just gratitude for who you are and for everything that you are, not just for one skill, but literally they recognize you for everything that you are, your entire being, then that energetic offering is going to be of really high quality, and you will be able to do so much good in the world with this kind of energy activation. So if you are a human design projector, this is something to pay attention to. I was reading the Human Design Manual by Richard Rudd. He was talking about basically if someone asks you on a date and they take you to McDonald's, then you're going to be working with some very low quality energy. Whereas if they take you to a fine dining restaurant, then what the energy that you're going to be working with is going to be a much higher quality. And so that is the type of energy that they're offering. So just something to kind of think about when you are accepting invitations and deciding what is right for you or not. It is important for you to decide what kind of energy you want to be activated with.
All right, let's move on to the next thing that will make or break your vibe. And that is, are you constantly compromising what you want for yourself in your life and in your relationships? And I know that we've been told that compromise is a good thing. Compromise is a good thing. We all get a little of what we want when we compromise. I get it. I get those words, and I used to believe in it, but I agree with that. Compromise means no one gets really, fully, truly what they want. You just get a little piece of it, and then you're dealing with things you didn't want, too. I'm not saying completely avoid compromising, but if
there
you're
are definitely
the one,
times in life where it is necessary.
yes, we're just saying that if you're the one that's always doing the compromising, then are you really living the life you want to live? Is this how you want to spend your life? Always compromising.
So I think a thing to look about, or basically a thing to illustrate what we're talking about here, is if I say that there's something that I want, and then Maddie says there's something that he wants, and then instead of either of us getting what we want, we say, okay, how about we meet in the middle? And basically neither one of us gets what we want because we're meeting in the middle. So instead, I feel like another way of looking at it is, how can we both get what we want in this situation? Like, how can we apply creative effort to us both getting exactly what we want? How much happier in your relationship would you be?
To have somebody that's willing to help make sure that you get what you want, and in return you help them get what they want, instead of just compromising on a middle ground. Yeah, I'm a lot happier in relationship. Thank you, honey. Something this can look like too when you're overly compromising in your life is that you're not making decisions based on what you want, and that you're doing what others think you should do.
Or society thinks you should do.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a lot of pressure to go off the checklist.
Being so focused on others that you don't know what you want. That you've been so busy compromising in your life or doing what others think you should or what society thinks you should. You're working towards that checklist Emily mentioned. Do you have the right education, the right job, the home, the car, the white picket fence? Do you got the relationship and the kids and happily ever after? Yay. That's society's checklist pretty much for everybody. And, for a lot of people that works. It's about how you go about it. But for some folks, that's not really the checklist you want to follow. So what are the factors you're basing your life on? Are they really your decisions, your desires, what you want? Or is it what society or someone else thinks you are? And are you compromising what you want to follow in this path? This can show up as people pleasing. Do you notice that about yourself? Are you always trying to please someone else? Sometimes in an effort to get what you want, or in an effort to just appease the situation so it'll be easier to navigate now. Well, I've pleased them, so now, we can navigate together better. I'm not saying that being a part of making a decision based on someone else or pleasing someone else is bad, but if you're always doing it, if you're always the one compromising, if you're always the one making your decisions based on others, this is a pattern. I just feel like it's doubtful that you're really getting to live your life the way that you desire down deep.
Yeah, and something else that goes along with this compromising what you want for yourself are unwanted influencing energies. So unwanted influencing energies are basically what other people think you should be doing with your life. And these are often put forth from our family and friends. I mean, these come from people that are well-meaning, because they may look at your life and they don't see things from your shoes, and they're like, oh, well, if they just did this, then their life would just magically be better, which probably is not the case. I mean, this happens a lot from parents to child. They have this idea that they want their child to follow in this particular footstep or have this amazing career or be a doctor or a lawyer. I mean, we heard that a lot growing up, but we also didn't grow up in the time of the internet where there's like so much more. It seems like those were like the only careers. It was like you can be a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher. But now it's just like there's so much more out there, so much more opportunity available to us.
I think the possibilities that we are aware of have increased, millionfold.
Yeah.
Because everything we could possibly know about the world can be in the palm of our hands. And we have that access with the internet, that so many ideas, so many inspirations that we just didn't have growing up in the 80s and early 90s and stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so this is something that Maddie and I both heard growing up. And we grew up, states away from each other, but not super far from each other. But our parents were like, oh, if you just get a college degree, then just magically things will just fall into place and you'll just magically get this job of your dreams and life will just be amazing. And that may have been more the case for them. I mean, there were fewer people on the planet, and it was definitely much easier to get jobs, different jobs. I mean, even when I was in college, I could go out and get a job in a day, and then now it's like, oh, you wait a month for a callback, or at least what I'm told. So things are different now. Things are very different. But anyway, unwanted influencing energies are these comments, these impressions, this energy that is directed towards you about how you should live your life by other people. And you may not think that they affect you, but they do, especially if you take them on as truth for yourself. If you are like literally shaming yourself because you're not meeting up to these expectations, then you are going to be very affected by these energies. And these definitely come from people that you care about. You care about how they feel about you, and so they make even more of an effect on you because of that. So there are ways to clear these energies from your field to help like reset your field. And we'll talk about that like towards the end on how to, start to do that.
Yeah, because we're energy beings and we're constantly having energy transferences coming, these unwanted influencing energies come in. And it's kind of like wearing your energetic backpack. You just start to put these things in your backpack, and the next thing you know, it gets heavier and heavier. And the repetitiveness behind them, it just takes an effect on you. It really, truly does. So who are you letting in your life? Can you recognize these unwanted influencing energies, these suggestions by others that are coming from their perspective, that can't be inside your own head and your own feelings and know what you truly want, but they can tell you what should happen in your life?
And I mean, they may be well-meaning, and most of the time they are well-meaning, but they still have a negative impact on your energy because it gives this dilemma within your energetic field, because you're like, wait a minute, but I want this, but they're telling me I should be doing this. And then it's like, like this back and forth. And so it creates this dilemma within your energy, which brings your energy down, lowers your vibration, because there's that circular energy and your energy is not directed towards what you want. It's like going in this circular pattern because it doesn't know where to move. It doesn't know how to move forward because it's stuck in this dilemma.
Well, it's stuck between your desires and the power you're giving to other people's suggestions.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I think we've covered that one enough.
Mm-hmm.
So the next two are definitely things that will make or break your vibe. And a lot of the clients that come to us, we hear a lot about these things. So we save them for the end. But feeling disconnected from spirit is a big one. This is kind of something that we all go through. This is a part of being a human, is to come here. We are all unique pieces of divinity having a human experience with spiritual amnesia. And in some way, we're looking for a connection. We're looking to feel that deeper connection to ourselves, to the creative forces of the universe. So I would ask you, do you have a spiritual or religious practice that helps you feel connected deeper to your own divinity? How about the creative forces of the universe? Are you feeling a connection there? Those two things are not mutually exclusive. You are divine. You're just having a human experience, and thus we're cut off from that until we find a way to connect back. I know that this is a deeply personal topic. There is no right way or wrong way to connect with the divine. There's just your way. And whatever helps you with that is a good thing. I know for me personally that connecting with my own divinity led me to a deeper connection with spirit. And sometimes the opposite is true. People will connect with a higher power and then be able to connect with themselves, to that divinity within, to that spark. But we see this a lot, that people are looking for deeper connections, spiritually, to their intuition, to their guides, to with other people in their lives. And I think that this often comes from that connection to spirit and to connect with your own divinity. Because if you can do that, you can recognize that within you is within everyone in their own unique and special way. I think it opens us up to a much happier, brighter world where we can recognize that within each other. So I just want to leave it at that with those questions that I asked and see how you feel and what that means to you. Are you feeling disconnected, or are you connected spiritually to the divinity within and to the greater creative forces of the universe?
And I do think it's important to mention that your connection will ebb and flow because we are here on the physical. And in order to have a connection with spirit, it's literally connecting to a higher plane, a higher realm. And it's okay to not be connected to that. In fact, that's not what you want. You don't want to be connected to that at all times, because then you're denying your physical experience. And it's about finding what the balance that works for you.
I find that that's why it's important to find that divinity within, because I think it helps connect us to our physical being here. It brings the divine to the physical plane when we can recognize that within ourselves, and we're not just looking outside of ourselves and giving everything to a higher power in that connection.
Totally.
It's a really good point that nothing is 100%, nothing is 0%. We're talking about the repetition, or statistically, where are your feelings at most of the time? Where's your connection to your own divinity most of the time? This is the kind of stuff to pay attention. So when we've been asking these questions, nothing is concrete. Nothing is always yes or always no. Life does ebb and flow, like Emily said, not just with your spiritual connection.
Well, I guess I want to clarify, or at least dive in a little bit deeper to that. It does not feel good to be disconnected from spirit. But if your definition of being disconnected from spirit is that you're not getting the guidance or the direction forward that you're looking for, I feel like that's what a lot of people mean when they feel like they're disconnected from spirits, that they're not getting the guidance that they want at this time. And I think that that is okay to not be getting guidance at some time. Sometimes it's about just being in the moment and living and truly appreciating the physical side of that. So when I say disconnected from spirit, I mean disconnected from the guidance and the steps forward, and not necessarily being disconnected from your divinity and spirit, as in your divinity. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
That's wonderful, because that comes up often as well with the clients. You're right. I was just kind of painting a broader picture, but specifically it's often that feeling, that disconnection to their guidance, to their soul's communication with their intuition. Yeah.
And I mean, a big reason for that is depending on where you're focused. I mean, if you're focused on the physical because you're having joy and enjoying your physical life, then that's one thing. But if you're disconnected from that guidance because you're experiencing all these negative emotions and you're ruminating and you're having this like really hard time, that's of course when you want the guidance the most, but you're cutting yourself off from it. You are disconnecting yourself from that energetic guidance and from spirit, because you're basically lowering your vibration to where you can't connect anymore.
And hold that connection.
Yeah, and hold that connection because you're just in this like lower frequency. So I don't know if I just went back on what I said or not, but I think I clarified that a little bit more, or at least I hope.
I find more clarification in
good.
what you said. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. And so the last point, and a huge thing that can affect your vibe, is lacking enthusiasm and fulfillment from your work, your career, or business on a daily basis. And so this is huge. I feel like so many people are not enjoying what they're doing. They do not feel fulfilled by it. They do not feel like they're fulfilling their purpose. It doesn't have any meaning. It's just like, oh, I just do this for money and that's it. And that's fine, because we live in a place where money is necessary. But if you're going to work and it's making you miserable, then that is definitely something to bring awareness to. Now, if it's something that's not super fulfilling, but it's allowing you to pay for your child's education, or it's helping you buy the healthy, high-quality groceries, or it's helping you go on that trip that you want, depending on where your mind frame is, that is what I'm talking about. Because if you don't have the enthusiasm for what you're doing and you can't reframe it in a way that makes you feel good about what you're doing, then there's an issue. Then there is a problem that is lowering your frequency.
So bring your awareness to how you earn an income. Are you fulfilled? Do you feel valued for your efforts? Do you feel satisfied and successful, whatever your definition of success is to you? And if you don't, try reframing your perspective. Maybe you have a placeholder job right now, a stepping stone to what's next. Like Emily was mentioning, find gratitude for what it does provide. Your food, home, car, your other needs and necessities. Money is an important aspect of the human experience, and it's, at least right now, it's the thing we use to exchange for things we need. Our world doesn't operate solely on that, but it is part of how we navigate the third dimensional reality in our human experience. Ask yourself, do you want something more meaningful in this area of your life?
Because you may not. You may be completely content and happy and satisfied and successful with going to work, making the money that you need, and not having to think about it anymore when you get home. And that's totally cool.
That is absolutely cool. Oh God, I couldn't agree more. To just flip that script and sometimes people recognize, wow, I get so much more fulfillment in other areas of my life. I'm cool that this is what's up and that this may not be the most fulfilling or meaningful thing to me. But look at all that it provides. Look at all the opportunity my family and I have because I go do this. Like flipping the script can be huge. That little step right there, that reframing of the perspective. But if you want something more meaningful in this area of your life, do you know what that line of work or career would provide you with more meaning, fulfillment, satisfaction, and success? Do you know what it is? What inspires you? Do you dream of doing something different? If you had a magic wand and could wave it so that your dream scenario for earning income was happening, what does that look like? How does that feel? Does it light you up? Are you joyous?
Do you have unlimited energy for it?
Ooh, good one.
Or at least do you have inspired energy? I mean, none of us have unlimited energy, but when you think about how it feels, how does your energy feel? How do you feel inside of your body when you go and do that thing?
Are you getting activated?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And if this is something you're looking for in changes in your area of your career, your work, then now it's time to ask your intuition. What's the next step you need to take? Your soul communicates in three main ways. Your intuition being the most abundant way. But your soul also communicates through imagination, through the things you're daydreaming of, ooh, if I could do this, that would be amazing. Like, that's your soul letting you know, hey, isn't that lighting you up right now thinking about it? And also inspiration. Like, what inspires you? Where's your imagination? Where do you wander? Where does it go when you think about what you'd really like to be doing? And ask for that next step. Like I said, this may be a placeholder, a stepping stone to something else. And that is totally cool in the path of life. We have a lot of placeholding moments and stepping stones. The path is not super straight in just one way.
Oh no, it circles back on itself. But just keep learning and growing. And it's about finding that higher perspective and keeping that optimism if you can through it.
Yeah.
But at least keeping inspired towards what it is that you are wanting to create and what your dreams look like. And just know it is possible for you. Even if you're coming from a shitty mind frame, you can reframe. You can always change how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your life, how you feel about your dreams. Those can all change. Those can all change, and your life will change. Just know whatever situation you're in, you do have the power to make positive changes in your life. And I know earlier we talked about the unwanted influencing energies, and we said we would talk about a way that you can help by eliminating those and reframing your subconscious mind to stop picking up on those energies. So a good way to do this is in our Navigating Spiritual Protection with a Divine Co-Pilot. It's only $44. It's an online course, and it's a great resource for changing any of the above things in your vibe. And it will help you to reprogram your subconscious mind to stop picking up on energies that you don't want and make intentional efforts to connect with the ones that you do. The techniques that we teach in that course are literally the techniques that we use on a daily basis more than once, and anytime before and after we do any kind of intuitive work or work in the Akashic Records. So we live by these techniques, and they've made enormous changes in our life.
Yeah, this is how we took charge of our energetic well-being right here. And they are foundational practices for us. I mentioned the energetic backpack that we all kind of navigate life with, and all these unwanted influencing energies and all of the thought forms and everything that are coming our way, they kind of end up in this backpack in a way. And this will help you to basically take this backpack off and shake it out and put it back on, and it's just your stuff then. It will help you lighten the load a ton. And that is huge when we talk about all of the energy transference that comes and goes from us, but comes in at us, is we need a way to clear it away, to refresh our own energy field. And this is what navigating spiritual protection with a divine co-pilot will do for you. If you're interested, there will be a link in the description. We'd love to see you over there. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a lot of fun talking about the 7 things we think that really highly affect your vibe, make or break it, if you will. These are very near and dear to us, things we've experienced, things that many people do. And we're just excited to be able to share with you today. If you're enjoying the podcast and what we've been laying down, share with your friends. Leave us a rating and a review. We'd love to know what it's changing for you, how you're being affected by this joyous project of ours.
Thank you all so much for joining us.
Have a great day. Hey there, amazing souls. Are you looking for a deeper connection to spirit and the divinity within? Wanting to validate your life's mission and soul purpose? Then a Soul Journey Akashic reading is perfect for you. Are you ready to conquer limiting beliefs holding you back from the life you desire? A past life regression with Spirit Guide meeting will give you the healing awareness you need to move forward with confidence. In the giving spirit of this holiday season, Emily and I are offering 24% off our services and courses purchased by New Year's Day. Visit us at soulvibeinsights.com and use coupon code HOLIDAY24 during checkout.